Hey guys, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. And real quick before we get started, I just wanted to say sorry the upload schedule has been a little bit different. I've had some family in town and I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Just got like a cold from all the little nephews running around. But anyway, I do apologize about that. And also thank you for all your new subscribers. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. So today's case takes us to Vancouver Island, which is in British Columbia, Canada, and this takes us back to July of 2014 in this Strathcona Provincial Park. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm sorry if I'm not. And this is a very rugged mountainous wilderness area with about 607,000 acres in the central part of Vancouver Island. It was created in 1911 and is the oldest provincial park in British Columbia and obviously the largest on Vancouver Island. And the park itself, it's sort of like a triangular shape, and it actually spans the entire width of Vancouver Island, and it's borders on the Herbert Inlet and also on the Pacific coast. And anyway, it also contains some of the highest summits of the Vancouver Island ranges. And it draws a lot of people from all over the area because there's so much to do and see. It's got the tallest mountains in the park that have been carved out of these basalts, and it's just a beautiful park. Now, I personally have never been there. I'm just recounting to you what others have stated and what other people have said about this park. Now, Sylvia Apps was a 69-year-old woman who was going on a 5-day solo hiking trip on July 8th of 2014 to Vancouver Island, Strathcona Park, which is in British Columbia, Canada. Like I said, she was currently living herself in Courtenay, British Columbia, but she was very familiar with this park, and she had decided to start her hike in the Paradise Meadows area of Mount Washington, and she was due back on July 13th at roughly 4 p.m. According to the investigation and friends and family, she was very well equipped with the proper gear, safety equipment. She had a navigation tool. She had done many long hikes in the past, and they weren't really concerned about her because she was an experienced hiker. Well, the last time she was actually seen was on July 11th on Castlecrag Mountain within the park. And that was the last confirmed sighting of her. So when she did not show up for her planned rendezvous on the 13th, the search team was assembled, and Paul Berry, who was the president of the Comox Valley Ground Search and Rescue, got a bunch of volunteers. He said that within the first day they had over 175 volunteers from 19 different teams from across British Columbia. And at first they searched the area around Castlecrag Mountain with the helicopter, and the search teams sort of spanned out from there, and they just searched the areas that they felt she was most likely would be in. However, this is where things started to get bizarre. They did confirm that Sylvia was on the summit of Castlecrag Mountain on July 10th because she had signed in on the register that is there. Around the same time, they also found Sylvia's blue backpack in like the second week of July, which contained everything except for her camera. Now, they also found her trekking poles in a not totally different location. So Paul Berry continued to muster up more volunteers, and he told the media at the time that it was so bizarre because they knew that she had 2 cell phones with her. Now, they did find the one cell phone. They kept finding all these items arbitrarily separated from one another in different areas. Apparently, Sylvia had brought 2 cell phones. One is a backup, and they looked at it and they saw, that she had taken some photos. And based on those photos, they were able to locate where she had taken them. But unfortunately, the photos were early on in the voyage, her trip, so it really didn't help them. According to Paul Berry, he said that where they're finding these items, he doesn't know whether they were dropped, but he did say that this is a very, very vertical, dangerous terrain. He said that where we're searching is basically like a vertical drop off when there's many snowfields. He says it's a very highly technical. He said when they were searching, they literally had rope teams descending into the area from above where the mountain rescue team was climbing through the snowfield. He said that there's small crevasses. Barry said that his teams believe if Sylvia fell in one of those areas, she could have fallen into one of the drainages, possibly survived. It's just, he said it was just so confusing why they kept finding all her gear scattered all over in different places. And unfortunately, because of this, it kept sort of ruling out different theories that they had came up with or were trying to come up with. Unfortunately, a week after the official start of the search, SAR operations started to be scaled back. According to President Paul Barry, he said that the ground and rescue, it was just getting too dangerous. They had already, based on two different factors, they had covered a huge amount of territory, and it was just getting too dangerous to search. And he also believed that it was probably not possible that somebody could have survived for as long out in those temperatures, especially knowing that she didn't have the majority of the gear with her, since they had found everything from her camera to her backpack to her trekking poles. And then he said, we look, quote, we look at it as a high probability at the various search areas, and we covered those areas. And knowing that Sylvia doesn't have her belongings for at least 7 days in this extreme heat and extremely challenging terrain is obviously very concerning. And plus they knew she didn't have any of her gear with him. So according to Barry, he kept saying he felt like they were on like a roller coaster. He said they felt like they were getting close, and then they would come up with nothing because they kept finding pieces of her gear scattered throughout the different area, and they couldn't understand why, you know, maybe she had taken a fall, but then how did the gear get in different spots? After this search was all said and done, it was over 200 volunteers from 19 different teams from across British Columbia. And Sylvia was considered a very experienced hiker. She had failsafe, she had a backup phone, and they just said that this is the only case where they've retrieved all these articles from the missing person, but not the missing person themselves. Paul Barry said that this is the only case in Vancouver Island of this nature. Paul Barry stated that he believes that since Sylvia was such a well-equipped and well-trained hiker, he feels that something happened. She suffered maybe a medical emergency of some kind, maybe a stroke, a heat stroke, and was unable to, you know, signal for help, or possibly then suffered a fall. But he said that it's just impossible to say. He says it's just the most bizarre thing that they have never found her, and still to this day they have never found her. And the search and rescue teams that are up in that area say that it's just so bizarre that they have never found her remains. And it's hard to even theorize what might have happened now. Some people do believe that it could have been a mountain lion attack. There are a lot of mountain lions on Vancouver Island. However, in those particular cases, there's usually a ton of evidence left behind, and there's pieces of like shredded clothing and other things like that, and they didn't find anything like that. In fact, all the gear that they did find of hers was perfectly fine. It didn't look like it had been through a fall or damaged or of any kind. So this is just a really puzzling case, and it still is an open, active investigation. They still haven't found her. And that was another thing that the SAR team members said, that this is a very well-traveled area. I mean, this park is very popular. People come from all over, and over the years, they said that they usually end up finding the people. But in this particular case, all the gear was found, but no Sylvia. Again, Sylvia Apps disappeared on July 8th of 2014 in the Castlecrag Mountain area on Vancouver Island, British Columbia. She was last seen on July 11th on Castlecrag Mountain, which is in Strathcona National Provincial Park in Vancouver Island. And if you have any information or are out in these areas, I will leave the information on who to contact, the Comox Valley Ground Search and Rescue or the RCMP. My thoughts and prayers go out to Sylvia Apps, her friends and family, and everyone who knew her and everyone who worked so hard to try and bring her home. Alright everybody, that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and please be respectful in the comments if you choose to leave them. Special thank you to co.ag for providing the background music, and I'll see everybody in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me to the end. And again, I do apologize about the upload schedule. It's probably going to be more like every other day. With my full-time job, it's a real busy season, and I've just been feeling a little bit under the weather. And I also wanted to let everyone know the video that I posted yesterday, that was actually part 2 of the Thanksgiving video that I said, you know, to be concluded in that video. So I just wanted to let everyone know that the video I posted yesterday about well, anyway, I also gave the full story in the video, so people that may not have seen the Thanksgiving video, that tells the whole story. And of course, if you have any case suggestions for me, please email me them, and I appreciate all your kind feedback and support. If you would like to buy a merch calendar, I'll have that information in the description. They are $17. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate the support, and if not, I just appreciate all of you watching and hope everyone is having a great week and is looking forward to a great holiday season. I'd love to hear about your traditions and what you guys do for the holidays, and I'll see you guys in the next one.